The following program contains some violence and adult themes. Channel 9 recommends viewing by mature audiences.
Hello, I'm Deputy Commissioner Grant Stevens. Tonight, our Major Crime Investigation Branch teams up with 9 News and Crime Stoppers to help shed light on some of the 113 unsolved cold case murders. What you'll see tonight is the start of a major police initiative to help track down South Australia's most wanted.
Why couldn't they have just robbed her and left her alone? Why did they have to do what they did? That's the hardest part that we can't understand.
Yes. I think he'd better be looking over his shoulder.
We're unlocking the top secret police files.
Cannot imagine how frightened she could have been.
Sometime the truth would come out.
The 113 cold cases. The most dangerous killers still at large.
Some of these people should be sleeping with one eye open.
From granny killers to child murderers. The new breakthroughs that could finally get them off our streets.
That could be a game changer.
Sorry.
The heartbroken families.
Hard to comprehend.
The chilling, never-before-seen evidence.
She's tried to protect herself.
And the detectives searching the world over.
It'd be great to get a result.
Literally leaving no stone unturned. And for the first time, inside the secret Adelaide warehouse, guarding the vital clues.
You'd really like to find out what happened.
Good evening, I'm Brenton Ragless. Welcome to this live presentation of SA's Most Wanted. Rihanna Barrow, the Beaumont children, Ratcliffe and Gordon, the family murders. They are names etched into the state's psyche for all the wrong reasons. But now there's fresh hope of unravelling some of these mysteries. The state's homicide squad this week announced it would review every cold case murder dating back to the 1960s. 113 cold-blooded killings where the person responsible could still be walking the streets of Adelaide. Tonight, in this live special of SA's Most Wanted, we'll take you inside the unprecedented review. We'll dig deeper than ever before into cases at the top of the list, why police are so confident and how you can help. In just a moment, we'll cross to SA Police Headquarters, where Major Crime Branch detectives are standing by to take your calls. But first, the murder of 16-year-old Patricia Schmidt. The Seacliff schoolgirl had just finished her second night working at a Darlington fast food outlet when she said goodbye to her workmates and walked towards South Road to wait for her father. It was the last time she was seen alive. 16 hours later, her battered body was found lying in grass at Hallett Cove. It's a crime that's haunted Adelaide for more than 4 decades. But as Ben Avery explains, a laboratory across the Tasman could finally provide a breakthrough.
Morning, how are you?
Well, thanks, you.
Just here to collect the exhibits for the...
Detective Inspector Greg Hutchins is a police force veteran, but never before has he had a mission quite like this.
There we go.
Thank you.
Inside his backpack is the key to solving one of South Australia's most enduring mysteries. A single piece of evidence that could lock up a killer 43 years after his sickening crime.
I hope this is the breakthrough everybody's been waiting for. It'd be great to get a result, particularly for the family. It must have been through hell and back.
It was 1:45 a.m. on December 17, 1971. 16-year-old Patricia Schmidt has finished work at what was the Burger King restaurant on South Road at Darlington. She's waiting to be picked up and driven home, but in what would become a lifelong regret for her father, he is running 15 minutes late, and Patricia makes the fateful decision to start walking. It would be the last time she was seen alive.
When Dad got home, Susie wasn't with him, and the next morning still not there, and just started to wonder what was going on. And then next thing there was a big hive of activity and police and detectives, and yeah, the place was abuzz, but for all the wrong reasons.
At 6:30 that evening, some 17 hours after she disappeared, Patricia is found dead in tall grass on the side of what was then known as Adams Road at Hallett Cove. The circumstances are nothing short of horrifying.
I suppose only being 10, a bit hard to comprehend rape and things like that, but yeah, even if you're young, still hits home.
Patricia Schmidt was commonly known by her middle name Susie. Despite losing her mother at a young age, she was a happy child, close with her siblings and in particular her brother Frank.
I do quite a few things with her, like going down to the beach. I remember trips to the zoo and grandparents coming over from overseas, and so trip down to Victor and onto Granite Island. I remember going on the chairlift with her and things like that.
Police say she was a normal teenager who'd never been in trouble.
She was enjoying herself, she had a good circle of friends, but she wasn't a promiscuous girl. She was always with the same group, and I've spoken to most of those people and they regarded her as a nice girl.
The Burger King where Susie worked has since become a Hungry Jack's, and the surrounding landscape here would look a whole lot different now than what it did back in 1971. But one thing has never changed, and that is that Susie's killer is still at large. So who is he? Did he know Susie, or was it an opportunistic crime? Susie took a job at the restaurant so she could afford Christmas presents for her family. This was her first shift.
She was really excited. She came past. She looked absolutely gorgeous. I can remember still what she was wearing when she went to work. She was in a pair of hot pants which were really in fashion back then in the early 70s, and a pair of lace-up boots, and she just looked gorgeous.
Best friend Frida Peachnik knew Susie as well as anyone, but she can't explain why Susie was last seen walking in the opposite direction to her Seacliff home.
And I had said to her, please Susie, whatever you do, don't walk home, because I knew she was finishing very late. And she promised me she wouldn't.
She actually started to walk along South Road that way, which is away from where she lived.
Is there any idea why she was going the other way?
No indication on why she did that.
A decision Susie's father would agonise over for the rest of his life.
Now, you've had about 18 months to toss it over yourself. Have you thought of anything that might give just some inkling as to what happened then?
No, well, I tried to, think back of what happened, but I just couldn't think of any new evidence.
All police know is that sometime before being dumped at Hallett Cove, Susie had been raped and strangled to death. A bra was found hanging on a fence nearby. It was a secluded area back then, far different to the busy Lonsdale Highway we know today. Now, Paul, this is a very busy road now. There's a lot of shops and houses around, but it wasn't like that at the time. So how was Susie's body discovered?
There was a fire truck returning to base from fighting the fire, and there's an off-duty police officer on there, and because he was standing so high on the back of the truck, he could see over the tall grass and saw her body on the ground.
Items collected at the scene have been preserved and kept under lock and key for the past 4 decades.
This one here, this has got a jacket that Susie was wearing on the night that she was murdered, and there's a quilt cover that was located not far from the scene.
There are also scrapings taken from dozens of vehicles suspected of being linked to the case, but so far it's led to no arrests. It all sounds like the trailer's gone cold, that 43 years on, police are without any hope of solving this mystery. But tonight we can reveal quite the opposite. Behind the scenes, enormous work is being done to bring the killer to justice. Detectives are quite literally leaving no stone unturned. For the first time, we can make these photos public. At an undisclosed Adelaide cemetery, the body of a suspect is being removed from beneath the ground.
He died not long after Susie died, and it wasn't a natural death, it was a suicide. So we thought that was a bit unusual, so we applied to the Attorney General to have the body exhumed for the purpose of taking DNA.
Police hit a hurdle when the DNA taken from the man didn't match with what was collected from the scene, and like many suspects before him, he was ruled out as the person responsible. However, there has since been another breakthrough. A new improved method of analysing DNA has been developed, and it's a game changer. Where police have previously only been able to use the partial DNA profile collected at the scene to rule suspects in or out, they now believe that for the first time they can create a full DNA profile of the offender. If that profile exists anywhere on the extensive criminal database, then police will find it and the case could once and for all be solved. The catch is that the technology they want to use is only available overseas. Detective Hutchins is boarding a plane to New Zealand. He's armed with the last 2 DNA samples taken from the murder scene.
We're hoping the laboratory in New Zealand is able to extract a DNA profile from a sample which is extremely small and very old.
If Susie Schmidt's killer has committed a crime since the rape and murder, he is likely to be caught out.
Should he be worried?
I would hope he would be worried, yes. Because once it's uploaded, and if we get a full sample and it's uploaded onto the database, and if that person's already on the database, then there's a good chance, or a very good chance, that there'll be a match.
Police are quietly confident this could lead to the ultimate breakthrough, one that would mean everything to a family that never really recovered from the heartless crime.
Yeah, I just can't comprehend how my dad would have been feeling at the time. Like, I've got 3 daughters, and to lose a daughter in that fashion, yeah, hard to comprehend. He always had hope that one day the case would be solved, so unfortunately, yeah, he went to his grave without that happening, so just hoping that the same thing doesn't happen with me.
For the latest on that investigation, let's now go to police headquarters, where Ben Avery is with Assistant Commissioner Paul Dixon. Ben?
Thank you, Brenton. Paul, that crucial DNA we just heard about remains over in New Zealand. When can we expect an update on that?
DNA is a critical tool for our investigators, and we are committed to using every available piece of evidence that we can to assist our investigators. So we've taken a piece of evidence over to Auckland, and we're getting that tested at the moment, and we're hoping in the near future we'll get a profile on that DNA sample, which will be able to assist our investigators to bring this investigation to a close.
Now, as for this evening, we can see a lot of major crime detectives here tonight taking phone calls from the public. What is it they're after?
What we're after is information. It doesn't matter how big or small that information is. We need that information to assist us. Investigations such as this are like a big jigsaw puzzle, and we just need that one piece to actually help us to solve the case.
Of course, a lot of cases out there, and the number to call if you have any information is 1800 333 000. Now, we'll have more from the call centre later in the program. Brenton?
Yeah, thank you, Ben. Still ahead in this 9 News live special.
They've had the freedom of the last 14 years, but my grandmother's been resting in the Gawler Cemetery for the last 14 years.
Unlocking the top secret files of Adelaide's granny killers.
Some of these people should be sleeping with one eye open.
Lives ended in their homes for little more than loose change.
Cannot imagine how frightened she could have been.
For the first time, we reveal the killer's mistake that could land him behind bars. Plus, under lock and key, the never-before-seen evidence in one of our most notorious unsolved crimes.
No one is safe at any stage.
They're undercover agents.
We're in the middle of fighting a war against terrorists.
The world's most elite team of spies.
Threats are an occupational hazard.
Breaking the rules to get the job done.
We know who you are. We know what you're up to and who you're targeting.
The multi-award-winning drama.
I'm not like you. There are things.
Who are you? Spooks starts Wednesday week on Gem.
Southwest ranch sauce and sizzling bacon.
Well played. Crunchy tortilla chips.
Legend.
With the new Southwest BLT Chicken Burger, McDonald's has raised the bar in flavour. Hi.
Hi. I hear Progressive has lots of discounts on car insurance. How does it work?
Well, are you a homeowner?
Yes.
Discount. Have you had the same insurance for a few years?
Yes.
Discount. Do you insure more than one car?
Yes.
Discount. This discount's great.
Yes!
There's no discount for enthusiasm.
Yeah, I got a little carried away there.
Story of my life.
Discounts worth shouting about. Now that's Progressive.
Did you know the source of your headache pain may be the muscles in your neck and head? If you want fast relief, try Nurofen Advance to target headaches at the source of pain fast.
Thursday Plantation is opening people's eyes to the power of nature's medicinal and face and body oils. And now you can reach for the power of nature's oils in our all-new convenient spray packs from Chemist Warehouse. Thursday Plantation. Treat yourself naturally.
Every day, more and more Australians are switching to a Woolworths Money Everyday credit card with no annual fees for the first year. Plus, you'll earn cash back as Woolworths shopping cards when you earn enough points on eligible purchases. With all these extras, you can't help but get excited.
Whoa! Yeah! Whoa! Yeah! Oh, yeah! Yeah!
Sign up for a Woolworths Money Everyday credit card. It doubles as your everyday rewards card. Visit woolworthsmoney.com.au or pick up a starter kit in-store today.
Did you know the source of your headache pain may be the muscles in your neck and head? If you want fast relief, try Nurofen Advance to target headaches at the source of pain fast.
The MY14 Subaru Runout is now on with exceptional factory-backed offers on the MY14 XV and MY14 Forester. So for unbelievable runout value, hurry into your local Subaru retailer today.
I eat Risk for breakfast. Tastes like bacon.
At Budget Direct, we don't insure Captain Risky. To keep prices low, get 25% off car insurance online. Quote now.
Breaking the hold of nicotine helped me quit smoking.
Talk to your doctor today about treatment options with and without nicotine, or visit nailquitting.com.au.
Jalapenos? Whoa. Grilled or crispy chicken? Nice.
With the new and permanent spicy jalapeno chicken burger, McDonald's has raised the bar in flavour.
You're watching a 9 News special edition of SA's Most Wanted. In a nondescript building within the Adelaide CBD is a secret police storage facility. It's a place even most police officers have never entered. There, under 24-hour guard, are boxes upon boxes of evidence that could help solve our most baffling murders. Every item carefully preserved and catalogued in case of a breakthrough. And as Kim Robertson reports, new crime-fighting tools are making the exhibits more useful than anyone could have ever predicted.
At first glance, it looks like the inside of any backyard shed. A pile of boxes, a mattress, all crammed into a space half the size of a standard bedroom. But look closer and this room is anything but ordinary.
In these cases, even though we examined them 20 or 30 years ago and either got limited evidence or no evidence, the police in their wisdom have retained those exhibits, waiting for future developments.
The sex murders of Alan Barnes, Neil Muir, Peter Stogneff, Mark Langley and Richard Kelvin between 1979 and 1983 is one of the state's darkest chapters. Of the four main suspects, known collectively as the family, only Bevan Spencer von Einem is behind bars, convicted only over the death of 15-year-old Richard. But detectives haven't given up hope, and here, in this guarded police facility, behind 3 locked doors, is the evidence that could finally bring them and other killers to justice.
Hopefully, no one gets to escape with committing some of these heinous crimes.
Among the dozens of items preserved for more than 3 decades, von Einem's car seat covers and a bed seized from a suspect's business in Adelaide's inner south. It contains multiple DNA profiles, but the business owner has never been charged.
We've committed to, over the next 12 months, to review the exhibits in all of our outstanding cases to identify what opportunities exist to progress any of those exhibits in a forensic context.
It's hoped groundbreaking DNA testing methods that have just become available at Forensic Science SA in recent weeks could crack open several cold cases.
There's been lots of advances. We can get results from areas where we never could. We can get those results analysed within the state, nationally and internationally, so we can achieve a lot more in a lot shorter time.
Previously, we would be looking for spilt body fluids such as blood, saliva and semen, but now any object at a crime scene may have on it the DNA profile of the offender.
It means anything a killer touched at a crime scene, from a weapon to a packet of lollies, no matter how long ago, could contain their biological calling card.
Should offenders be nervous?
My view is they should be.
Especially nervous should be the 9 killers whose DNA police already have, including whoever murdered service station owner Peter Seaford at Whyalla in 1989. Currently, there's no match among the 600,000 profiles on the National DNA database, but one phone call to police could land them in jail.
So if we can get somebody to ring up in relation to one of those matters, that could be a game changer, and we could have people in custody quite quickly.
How confident are you that these new technologies will solve any of these cold cases?
We've already started working on these cold cases, and we have been able to give them already some investigative information which I know has been very helpful to their investigations.
Also providing fresh hope is this state-of-the-art machine. It cost more than $1 million, and there's less than 10 of them in all of Australia, and police believe it will prove vital. The machine scans bullets and cartridges found at crime scenes in microscopic detail, creating a 3D image that's entered into a database and compared with others across Australia.
The whole idea behind it was to tackle the illegal firearms market across Australia and to eliminate the possibility that by going over the borders, you've got a bit of a safe haven from being detected for crimes that you've committed in another jurisdiction.
Every firearm seized is fired into a water tank and the results entered into the database.
The more we've got on the database to compare against, then the more likely we are to link crimes to criminals and to other crime scenes.
On a separate floor in the Wakefield Street Police Station, advancements too in a century-old method. A new cabinet that emits a superglue-like substance in high humidity is allowing police to extract better quality fingerprints and faster. The method used to take a day. Now it's over in minutes, and the results are staggering.
And the fluorescing of the fingerprint is to a much more superior quality and standard than we've ever had before.
There's now almost 4 million people on the National Fingerprint Database. Like DNA, the fingerprints of some killers are already on file, but their identities are unknown, as is the case in the murder of Samuel Haywood, who was bashed over the head in his unit at Kingston Park in 1988.
If there is no identification, it sits on the system and waits, and every time fingerprints are uploaded, it gets checked again and again and again, hopefully until we can get a match.
Forensic advancements across the board that are leaving criminals nowhere to run.
It's just been amazing technological advance after amazing technological advance.
No one is safe at any stage from possibly being detected for something they did many, many years ago.
Coming up, who could be so cruel?
She's tried to protect herself.
Who are Adelaide's granny killers?
I noticed that she was laying on the floor and I just freaked out.
Sometime the truth will come out.
As the same suspect struck twice.
Some sort of ploy, I'd say.
And the chilling crime scene video meant for detectives' eyes only.
Cannot imagine how frightened she could have been. One more win, and our Aussies are in the World Cup final. Australia, India, a must-win semi. Thursday, live on 9. Are the Bunnies unstoppable?
There's a try coming.
In a Friday heart pounder, the charged up Eels and the rampaging Rabbitohs. Then, can the Tigers chase down the Bulldogs?
There's a foot race on. Oh, Josh Morris.
An epic weekend starts. Friday, 7:30. Exclusively live and free on 9.
You're watching a special presentation of SA's Most Wanted, live from Channel 9's Adelaide studios. The sickening murders of 3 grandmothers in separate attacks north of Adelaide left the state wondering who could be so cruel. Each was set upon while alone in their home and either beaten or stabbed for little more than pocket money. The crimes so violent they shocked hardened detectives. But as Will McDonald discovers, each killer could have left behind crucial clues.
Nestled in a picturesque valley 80 kilometres north of Adelaide sits the hamlet of Hamley Bridge. Like most country towns, it's a place where everyone knows everyone. A place so innocent that for 150 years, most residents didn't bother to lock their doors. But on July 26, 2000, that changed forever.
The savage murder of the 91-year-old widow has sent shockwaves through the 600-strong township.
Kathleen Durden was the victim of a cowardly attack, repeatedly beaten and left to die alone in the home she'd lived in for 50 years.
A 91-year-old lady who's lived a normal life and hasn't done anything wrong, to have her life ended like that after 91 years is absolutely horrific.
The alarm was raised when Kathleen failed to answer a knock on the door from Meals on Wheels. Police believe she'd been attacked the previous afternoon or evening. Her dinner still on the stove, her bed turned down but not slept in. It was a stormy night in the middle of winter and neighbours didn't hear a sound.
Kathleen had received numerous blows to the head. The pathologist had said in the amount of about 16 individual blows to the head.
The aftermath of the sickening attack captured on police video and released for the first time. Kathleen's bloody body was found face down in front of her favourite chair.
There were significant defensive wounds on Kathleen's hands, which indicate that she's tried to protect herself during the course of the assault.
But who killed Kathleen Durden and why? At first glance, a motive appeared obvious. Drawers throughout the house were pulled open, household possessions and clothes strewn across the floor. But curiously, wallets containing hundreds of dollars weren't taken, nor was a diamond ring. In fact, relatives couldn't find anything missing at all. There were no signs of a break-in at the home, indicating Kathleen may have known her attacker. So was it a bungled robbery and Kathleen disturbed the intruder, who panicked, bashed her and fled empty-handed? Or was it far more sinister and the killer just wanted the murder to look like a break-in?
All motives have been looked into and are still continuing to be looked into in relation to it, and a home invasion gone wrong is definitely one of those motives.
She did wear good jewellery. She looked like she was a affluent woman, so the only motive I could think would be that someone wanted to rob her. But why would you want to murder someone for that?
Warren Durden is Kathleen's step-grandson and for many years lived just across the road.
Yeah, the memories of having a cup of tea with Auntie Kath in this, just through the bay window there, I can still recall them just as if they happened yesterday. Wouldn't have done anyone any harm. She always come out on the street when she went shopping or that and looked in well-dressed and pleasant. Just a nice old lady.
The crime so shocking it brought an unprecedented police response. The entire town of Hamley Bridge was door-knocked and every person in the town spoken to. Those with a criminal history were paid closer attention.
2 people were interviewed in relation to her murder. Subsequent to that, another 2 people were interviewed interstate, but no one has been able to be progressed further than just a person of interest to a suspect.
The murder weapon, thought to be a blunt object, has never been found. Until now, the biggest clue has been a finger and palm print found at the crime scene that could very well belong to the killer.
There is potential for that fingerprint to be identified on an international database, and that's something that we're looking into.
But now, with advancements in DNA technology, evidence seized from the scene and preserved will be retested. If the killer merely touched any of these items, he or she might finally be unmasked.
Of particular interest are Kathleen's clothing that she was wearing at the time. There's some evidence to suggest that the suspect may have touched that clothing.
For the Durden family, it's a glimmer of hope.
It's important to have that attention though, I suppose, because as a family, I guess you'd really like to find out what happened.
Well, this thing hadn't been resolved, and I guess sometime the truth would come out. Someone's out there that's committed this crime, and they've had the freedom of the last 14 years, but my grandmother's been resting in the Gawler Cemetery for the last 14 years.
As shocking as the crime is, sadly, it's not an isolated one. Just 2 years earlier, and around half an hour's drive away here at Elizabeth South, another defenceless grandmother was attacked while home alone. And as in Kathleen Durden's case, the killer has never been caught. 71-year-old Phyllis May Harrison was a much-loved mother, grandmother and member of her church community.
She loved her grandchildren and she loved her children and just loved life. Sometimes she had to make an appointment to see Mum because she was so
standing
busy.
joke with the family.
Yeah.
But on March the 2nd, 1998, it was all taken away.
Police revealed she'd been stabbed with a small knife, most likely stolen from the kitchen where she was found dead.
Youngest daughter Diane making the discovery.
My son went in first and then I went in and I noticed that she was laying on the floor and I just freaked out. I didn't even know the emergency number. I couldn't remember it. I was shocked.
Mrs. Harrison was found lying face down, her injuries concealed. Paramedics delivering the news no one saw coming.
They said we have to call major crime, and that's when it hit us that it wasn't a natural death.
Investigations later revealed a small amount of cash was taken from the home.
Just leaves a big hole in my heart.
Well, I couldn't have just robbed her and left her alone. Why did they have to do what they did? That's the hardest part that we can't understand.
Yes.
With no signs of a break-in or struggle, Mrs. Harrison's family believe she too knew her killer.
They got into the house with her acknowledgement and some sort of ploy, I'd say, and that's when they took advantage of her.
A prime suspect was identified, a man who lived near Mrs. Harrison on Harvey Road. Police even obtained a partial DNA sample they believe belongs to the attacker. But until now, it's not been strong enough to upload to the national database. Despite extensive searches for clues in the days after the killing, police failed to find a murder weapon. But in a stroke of luck 9 years later, it was found right under their noses.
It was a significant find. The knife was found 2 houses away. New occupants had moved into the house. They were cleaning up the yard, and in that process they located the knife. They were aware of the murder of Miss Harrison and that she'd been stabbed, and they immediately contacted the police.
Despite the discovery and the partial DNA profile, the suspect remained free. There simply wasn't enough evidence to lay charges. But despite knowing he was under suspicion for murder, detectives believe he may have struck again. On the 6th of October 2010 at Elizabeth North, great-grandmother Beverly Handley was found dead.
A neighbour has told 9 News of hearing men yelling, followed by a woman's scream around 2:30 yesterday morning.
The 64-year-old was beaten with a cricket bat police believe had come from inside the home. It appears she was also stabbed. Mrs. Handley's handbag had been stolen, but there were no signs of forced entry. Soon, one suspect stood out.
There is a common denominator with a person of interest between the two investigations.
But in Mrs. Handley's murder, police can't rule out there being 2 killers. For the first time, we can reveal 2 separate DNA profiles were found at the scene. One on a phone cord that had been removed from the wall. Possibly a sinister move to prevent a call for help.
It potentially could mean 2 people were involved in the crime. Or it could mean one sample is an innocent person and the other one is the offender, or vice versa.
Forensic experts also found a bloodied footprint traced back to a pair of cheap skate shoes similar to these. All police need is a name.
And we're always hopeful that we can solve these old crimes, particularly cases such as Miss Beverly Handley's, which is particularly brutal because of her age.
In each of these 3 most dreadful crimes, the question of why is the most baffling of all. 3 loved and loving elderly women forced to endure their final moments in what could have only been absolute terror, killed for nothing more than loose change.
We will do everything we can and look for any opportunity to try and solve these crimes.
Coming up.
Some of these people should be sleeping with one eye open.
Putting everything on the line.
It is unprecedented.
To get our most dangerous killers off our streets.
I'm very confident.
And a mother's pain.
Still, I wake up in the middle of the night.
She knows who killed her daughter, but police can't do anything about it.
I'm pleading to them from the bottom of my heart.
It's the UK's most talked about crime drama, and it's coming to Jim.
The man is nitroglycerin.
Oscar nominee Idris Elba.
She kills her parents and walks.
The Affair's Ruth Wilson. New award-winning drama, Luther, starts Wednesday week on Jim.
Every day, more and more Australians are switching to a Woolworths Money Everyday credit card with no annual fees for the first year. Plus, you'll earn cash back as Woolworths shopping cards when you earn enough points on eligible purchases. With all these extras, you can't help but get excited.
Whoa!
Yeah!
Whoa! Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Sign up for a Woolworths Money Everyday credit card. It doubles as your everyday rewards card. Visit woolworthsmoney.com.au or pick up a starter kit in-store today.
Experience a new world of clean with the wide range from Pino Clean. Our most powerful cleaners give you an unbeatable shine you can see. And a lasting fresh fragrance you can smell. Bring your home to life with the Pino Clean range. It's not clean unless it's Pino Clean.
Hi. Hi. I hear Progressive has lots of discounts on car insurance. How does it work?
Well, are you a homeowner?
Yes.
Discount. Have you had the same insurance for a few years?
Yes.
Discount. Do you insure more than one car?
Yes.
Discount. Aren't these discounts great?
Yes!
There's no discount for enthusiasm.
Yeah, I got a little carried away there.
Story of my life.
Discounts worth shouting about. Now that's Progressive.
When did we lose the good from Good Morning? Statistically, 7 in 10 people now wake up to their tech, not each other.
Some eat something nutritionally defunct that hardly counts as breakfast. And 1 in 3 skip breakfast. So put the good back into your morning with Uncle Toby's cereals. Australia's largest range rated 4 or more stars. So you'll know just how much goodness they pack into every bowl.
Put the good back into mornings. Uncle Toby's.
Australia's largest range rated 4 or more stars.
Why do cars matter? Because grand finals matter. Date nights matter. School drop-offs definitely matter. Adventures matter. But sometimes a good night's sleep matters more. Business meetings, birthdays, and best friends. That's what matters. Allianz Insurance. Because it matters.
The old Bill doesn't always play by the rules.
Us oldies are capable of doing more than just playing bingo.
New tricks, Thursday 8:30 on Jim.
Welcome back to a special live presentation of SA's Most Wanted. Cold case is the term given to a homicide that goes unsolved for more than 12 months. Here in South Australia, we have 113 dating back to the 1960s. In almost a third of cases, a body hasn't been found. But now, SA Police have a better chance than ever to finally unravel some of these mysteries. Ben Avery reveals how detectives plan to do it and takes us inside the squad that will make it happen.
For major crime detectives, this is just another day at the office.
How did you kill Rebecca?
With an axe.
Was that the same axe that you used to kill?
Yes.
From child murderers,
I felt like she was using me a lot.
to children who murder.
You understand you're under arrest?
They've locked up dozens of the state's most dangerous killers. Today, they've set their sights on a new target.
This is the first of the Cold Case Evaluation Committee meetings.
This is rare access to a high-level briefing where officers will try to unravel our most notorious murder mysteries.
It's a bit unusual with so much evidence of searching that nothing was taken.
113 cold cases dating back to the 1960s have each been allocated to a case officer.
17 exhibits have been identified with potential for further testing.
With fresh eyes, detectives are literally reopening old files, closely re-examining forensic evidence and mountains of statements before reporting back to a team of detectives with hundreds of years' experience.
When she was found, was she wearing the same clothing as she'd been seen in the previous evening?
Yes, she was. She had a podiatrist appointment earlier that day.
We'll talk with that person about the case, why they've formed certain views, explore options that we can progress, explore the status of all the exhibits, and at the end of that meeting, we'll make a determination as to what happens with that file.
If there's any chance of catching a killer, the investigation will be relaunched and fast-tracked.
Some of these people should be sleeping with one eye open and expecting a knock on the door because it's only a matter of time.
Superintendent Des Bray is passionate about getting results, as are the 52 other members of the Major Crime Investigation Branch.
They feel a heavy responsibility in terms of solving every crime, because when you don't, you know the devastating impact that has on families.
The branch bolstered by the addition of 8 detectives and 6 uniform officers in the past year.
It is unprecedented. We have another opportunity, I think, to actually make headway on these cold cases. It's the most serious crime that can be committed by anybody, taking the life of another person.
There's around 20 murders a year in South Australia, and on average only 2 go unsolved. Among them, crimes that struck fear into the hearts and minds of every parent. The disappearance of the Beaumont children, the Adelaide Oval abduction of Kirsty Gordon and Joanne Ratcliffe, and Rihanna Barreau, the Morphett Vale schoolgirl who vanished in 1993. There's high-profile cases like the Wright Street bikie shootout and the NCA bombing. And there's lesser-known but equally important mysteries like the murder of Lena Marciano, whose body was found in a Dry Creek dump in 1978. In around 40 cases, a body has never been found.
For everybody that works here, it's a completely unsatisfactory outcome for them to hold a case that hasn't been solved or where the remains of a deceased person haven't been found.
Homicide Victim Contact Officer Debbie Gibson works on the front line, supporting murder victims' families in their toughest hour.
For these families, every time there's a new case or every time there's a newspaper article or something like that, it must just open it all up for them again.
Statistically, the odds are against police, with only 1 in 100 cold cases solved worldwide. But here in SA, there's been breakthroughs in 4 historic cases in the past 2 years, including an arrest over the murder of teenager Karen Williams, who police allege was dumped down a mine shaft at Coober Pedy more than 20 years ago. In one case, a man revealed a dark secret that he'd held for decades.
And that person had carried the secret for all that time and basically said, look, I've done some really, really bad things, but I always wished I never became involved in this. I'll tell you what happened. And now if we can repeat that again and again, I'd be really happy with that.
It's expected all exhibits will be reviewed within a year, but investigations will only end when a killer is behind bars.
I'm very confident. I think we're providing a tremendous opportunity at this point in time to actually resolve some of these cases which have been unresolved for such a long time.
Coming up,
please, please tell someone.
22 million reasons to talk.
We need to create an incentive for people to come forward.
From cash to slash jail time. The unprecedented call for clues.
We are dangling opportunities in front of people.
There are so many people suffering out there because they just don't know what happened.
Why now is the time to speak up.
It might get to the point where we don't need your help.
Welcome back to a special live presentation of SA's Most Wanted. The reality is most people with information that could help solve the state's cold cases are already involved in crime or have associates who are. Many of them are already behind bars. Some are now quite literally being offered get-out-of-jail-free cards and a pile of cash that could set them up for life. For victims' families, the unprecedented move is providing hope that one day their nightmares will end. Two mothers bonded by unimaginable grief.
It's not just immediate trauma, it goes on for years and years.
You just wish for things to have been so different.
Sharon McCall's daughter Emma was 30 when on December 4, 2005, her battered body was discovered by a bushwalker near Williamstown. The crime scene had been set on fire and Emma's partially burnt body was unrecognisable.
But it's always there in the background. I think about her a lot still. I wake up in the middle of the night and think about her. You know, I cry for her still. Yeah, it's very emotive.
Like many cold cases, police have a suspect, but to this day, the man remains free due to a lack of evidence.
I feel that she died in such a horrific way and then someone's not being held accountable for it. And I feel that I've just got to keep fighting for her because she deserved that justice.
Lynette Nishke knows Sharon's pain. Lynette founded the Homicide Victim Support Group after her teenage daughter Alison was murdered in September 1991.
For people whose crimes are unsolved, it's just such a difficult time to wonder where that person is and what they're doing and the fact that they're living a life when your loved one can't.
Unprecedented incentives are now being offered for information that could crack open cases like Emma's. The Attorney-General says there's never been a better time to cough up information.
We are dangling opportunities in front of people and saying, look, the public interest is served by having these people brought to justice.
For those who come clean but aren't completely innocent, immunities or reduced sentences could and are being offered. For those already in jail who choose to do the right thing and break the code of silence, they could be resentenced and walk free much sooner than expected.
In the end, it's a balancing act, isn't it? I mean, a lot of the people who might, for instance, be in jail are probably, let's say, middle-level people in a criminal group. If they are able to help us and a higher-level person in that group, or in fact a leader of that group, winds up being convicted, well, on balance, I think that's in the public interest.
The Victims of Crime Commissioner agrees.
I think it's important that people are given an opportunity to come forward, and if that means we have to show some leniency for them, then that might be for a greater good.
Incentives too for those who simply know too much, with a whopping $22 million in rewards on offer, including $1 million for each of the 13 child murders.
There's an extraordinary number of rewards on offer.
Well, this is the expectation. We need to create an incentive for people to come forward. There are people out there who have information. They have long-held information about old crimes, and we're looking for their help. And if it means that we're prepared to pay money for that, then I think people should take advantage of that.
You wouldn't want to leave it too late, would you?
My advice is to act now, because it might get to the point where we don't need your help, or if you are implicated in some way, then we'll be knocking on your door before you get a chance to come and provide information and get a benefit from that.
And in doing so, providing a benefit to the victims' families that money can't buy.
I'm pleading to them from the bottom of my heart that if anyone has any information for any of the cold cases here in South Australia, to have a conscience and come forward.
Please, please tell someone. There's plenty of ways you can tell and remain anonymous. There's rewards. There's so many things these days that will make you feel so much better if you come forward with any information, even if you think it's insignificant. Every little piece of information the police need helps to put pieces into the puzzle.
As the authorities say, there's never been a better time to come forward with information. And one way to do that is by contacting Crime Stoppers. Ben Avery is with Crime Stoppers Chair Sharon Hanlon at Police Headquarters. Ben?
Thank you, Brenton. Now, Sharon, this cold case review, it's only been going for about a week or so now, but already you're getting some positive results. Tell us about that.
We are. It was only launched on Sunday, but we've received a number of calls offering some very high quality information that we're really pleased with. We would urge anybody who's got any information whatsoever to ring Crime Stoppers. We have detectives from Major Crime here this evening waiting to take their calls.
And this could be just the start, because we've got in the coming weeks some publicity around some other cases as well.
We do. So there's more than 100 cases that are all profiled on the Crime Stoppers website, but over the next 12 weeks we will be featuring up to 38 of those in detail in conjunction with Channel 9, and we hope that this increased level of exposure, along with some significant rewards from the state government, will prompt people to come forward, call Crime Stoppers and allow the police not only to perhaps solve some of these cases, but importantly to give some of the families closure.
Well, all the best with it. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Now, Brenton, before we go back, we have just been told by detectives that they are getting some very positive calls here this evening, so that is good news and encouraging for the future. But we can also say that in recent days there have been some very specific calls and some very credible information. One phone call regards the murder of Emma Pawelski. That is the case that we saw just a few moments ago. Another is about the disappearance of Daniel Shepherd, who went missing in 1995. The other is about missing person Renata Wallinen, who was murdered back in 1989. So very good news there, but on each of those occasions, unfortunately, the people that called in did not leave their names, so detectives are desperate for those people to call back so that they can continue their discussions. The number again, Brenton, Crime Stoppers, 1800 333 000.
All right, Ben Avery, thank you. Some promising developments indeed. After the break, we'll return with more on this live presentation of SA's Most Wanted.
Gemma needs a life-changing transplant. Her husband makes the ultimate sacrifice to save their family. RPA, Wednesday 8:30 on Gem.
Hi.
Hi. I hear Progressive has lots of discounts on car insurance. How does it work?
Well, are you a homeowner?
Yes.
Discount. Have you had the same insurance for a few years?
Yes.
Discount. Do you insure more than one car?
Yes.
Discount. Aren't these discounts great?
Yes!
There's no discount for enthusiasm.
Yeah, I got a little carried away there.
Story of my life.
Discounts worth shouting about. Now that's Progressive.
Our lives are so busy. In the rush of it all, we need to remember it's the little pictures that make up the big one. And it's these moments that make every day special. Visit sanremo.com.au.
Could your bank account do with a little extra? Simply deposit your salary of at least $1,000 each month into an Orange Everyday account and you'll get 2% cash back on Visa PayWave purchases under $100 and fee-free ATMs across Australia.
Unbeatable turbo power in your kitchen. Just look how the turbo power in this Easy Off BAM Grease and Sparkle dissolves grease like grease lightning. Seen a microwave like this? Spray, wipe, it's gone. Easy Off BAM Grease and Sparkle.
Snap-on Smile is a revolutionary new dental technology in Australia, transforming missing, worn, broken, discoloured, chipped and mildly crooked teeth with this affordable, pain-free solution. No drills, needles or adhesives. Visit godental.com.au for more information today.
I see a natural healthcare practitioner because of the results. I haven't had this much energy since I was a kid.
They provide great advice on supplements, diet and lifestyle.
Contact Metagenics to find a natural healthcare practitioner near you.
When did we lose the good from Good Morning? Statistically, 7 in 10 people now wake up to their tech, not each other. Some eat something nutritionally defunct that hardly counts as breakfast. And 1 in 3 skip breakfast. So put the good back into your morning with Uncle Toby's cereals. Australia's largest range rated 4 or more stars. So you'll know just how much goodness they pack into every bowl. Put the good back into mornings. Uncle Toby's. Australia's largest range rated 4 or more stars.
I eat risk for breakfast. Tastes like bacon.
At Budget Direct, we don't insure Captain Risky to keep prices low. Get 25% off car insurance online. Quote now.
Welcome back. From the rape and murder of 16-year-old Patricia Schmidt 43 years ago to the brutal attacks on 3 grandmothers alone in their homes, tonight we've lifted the lid on some of the state's most disturbing crimes. In all of these cases, the killers are still likely walking the streets of Adelaide. But with your help, some of these cases could soon be cracked open. Major crime detectives will remain in the Police Communications Centre tonight to take your calls. Any small piece of information could be the missing piece of the puzzle that could help end the pain for dozens of Adelaide families and finally take these dangerous killers off our streets. The number again, 1800 333 000. On behalf of the 9 News team, thank you for watching this special presentation. Good night.
You don't know where, you don't know when, some don't know why, and others don't know how.
Feel free to stop blowing whenever you like.
And if you're caught drink driving, don't forget your passengers. RBT, tonight 7:30 on Gem. Family, RPA, tonight 8:30 on Gem.
Mr. Drake, you will please get dressed and come with us.
Come back in the morning.
You are under arrest.
Come in.